Please take this. I want you to have it.
Oh, thank you, dear. God bless you.
Lady, stop pretending you care and move out of the way. The words came from a passing commuter, loud and cruel. As a single mom knelt beside two elderly strangers slumped on a bus stop bench, rain mixed with street dust on the sidewalk. People walked around them like they were trash. Her little boy clung to her coat, scared. And in that moment, she made a choice that would pull her life into a turn she never saw coming. The bus stop sat at the edge of downtown, where tall buildings threw long shadows over cracked pavement. It was early evening, the kind of hour when the city smells like wet concrete, exhaust, and tired people rushing home. A cold drizzle feathered the air, not enough to send people running, but enough to make everything feel heavier. The bench under the shelter was already soaked, and two elderly figures huddled there, as if the world had forgotten their names. The woman's hands were trembling around a small purse. The man beside her stared into the street with glassy eyes that couldn't hold focus. Their clothes were clean but old, the kind that belonged to people who once lived quiet, careful lives. A plastic grocery bag rested by their feet, filled with nothing that looked like help. Their bus had come and gone twice. They didn't move. They didn't even seem to notice. Across the street, people glanced once, then looked away. A few slowed. Not to help, but to make sure they would not get involved. In the city, compassion is often treated like a trap people can't afford. A woman named Serena Cole walked toward the stop with her son on her hip and a second bag dragging from her wrist. Serena was 29, a single mom worn in a way. That didn't show weakness, only work. Her jacket was thin, hair pulled back fast, eyes alert from years of doing everything alone. Her son Jaden was 4 and sleepy, his small cheek pressed against her shoulder. Serena had just finished a long shift at a grocery store and was heading home to a one-bedroom apartment where the heat was unreliable, but the love was steady. She noticed the couple because she knew that look. She had seen it before in her own mother, before the nursing home finally took her. The look of being lost, not just in place, but in dignity. Serena slowed, then stopped. The elderly woman tried to stand and nearly fell. Serena reached out fast, steadying her without thinking. The woman flinched like she expected to be scolded. Serena's voice softened, asking if they were okay, asking if they needed help. The man's lips moved, but no sound came. His face was pale under his gray beard, and a chilled redness spread across his knuckles. A few people passing by muttered that Serena should leave them to their family. But it wasn't her problem. Someone said the city was full of scams. Another voice, sharp and impatient, told her to stop pretending she cared. Serena felt the familiar sting of being judged. She had been judged in hospitals when she couldn't pay a bill right away, in markets when she counted coins, in life when she raised a child without a ring on her finger. Judgment was a language she understood. But she also understood something deeper. She sat Jaden down beside her, told him to stay close, and knelt near the couple. The woman's name was Ruth. The man's name was Walter. Their words came slow and broken. They had come to the city that morning to meet their son for lunch. He worked in finance, always busy, always promising to show up, but he never came. Their phones were old and dead. They had walked too far, waited too long, and now the cold was sinking into their bones. Ruth kept saying they didn't want to be a burden. Walter kept asking if the buses stopped running early now. Serena's chest tightened. She could feel the shame sitting on them like wet cloth. She could also feel anger rising at the kind of world that lets age become invisible. She dug in her bag and pulled out a small bottle of water and a granola bar she had saved for Jaden. She offered them gently. Ruth tried to refuse. Serena told her quietly that kindness does not need permission. Walter ate with shaking hands. Serena then did the simplest thing that felt huge. She called for help. Her phone was cheap, screen cracked, but it worked. She called the local community helpline, then the non-emergency police number, giving their names and description, asking for a welfare check and transport. While she waited, she wrapped her own scarf around Walter's shoulders and rubbed his hands to warm them. The drizzle thickened. Jaden leaned against her leg and watched, his eyes wide with the quiet awe children have when they see their parent choose goodness. A patrol car arrived first. The officer looked tired but kind. He listened to Serena, then turned to Ruth and Walter with respect. An ambulance came next to check Walter's blood pressure. The numbers were high. Too high. The paramedics said another hour in the cold could have turned into something dangerous. Serena felt her knees go weak for a second, realizing how close the edge had been. Ruth's eyes filled. She gripped Serena's hand like it was the last safe thing left in the world. Serena told her she was safe now, while they waited for transport. To a nearby clinic, Serena asked for an emergency contact. Ruth hesitated. She didn't want to trouble anyone. Serena pressed gently until Ruth gave a number. Serena dialed. The son answered with irritation first, then panic when he heard who it was. He said he had been stuck in meetings. Said he thought they would take a cab. He said a lot of things that sounded like excuses wrapped in guilt. Serena didn't argue. She gave him the clinic address and told him to come. The call ended and the street settled into a strange quiet. The rain kept falling, the city kept moving, but a small island of care had formed on that bench. At the clinic, Serena stayed. Didn't have to. Her rent was due. Her feet hurt. Jaden was hungry. But she stayed because leaving felt like breaking a promise her heart had never spoken out loud. She held Ruth's hand while Walter was checked. She helped fill out forms they couldn't see clearly anymore. She made Jaden giggle softly to keep the room from turning to heavy. An hour later, the son arrived, tie askew, eyes red. He rushed to his parents, overwhelmed by what almost happened. Ruth hugged him and cried. Walter said nothing, only looked tired. The son then turned to Serena, face full of shame and gratitude mixed together. He tried to press money into her hand. Serena shook her head, said she didn't help for that. She helped because people shouldn't be left alone like that. The son's throat worked like he couldn't find words. He asked her name again, as if needing to hold it. Serena told him. He looked at Jaden, then back at her, and something changed. In his face, he said he ran a foundation for senior care in the city. He said they had been struggling to find real people with real heart to lead a new community outreach program. He asked if she would consider meeting with him later in the week. Not as charity, as paid work. As leadership, Serena blinked, sure she misheard. She was a grocery store cashier who barely made it month to month. She told him she had no degree. The son said degrees don't rescue people at bus stops. Hearts do. Serena went home that night drained and unsure. The apartment smelled of leftover rice and laundry soap. Jaden fell asleep fast, clutching her sleeve. Serena sat by the window listening to the rain on the sill, replaying the day. She had done what felt normal to her, what her mother once taught her, what life had tried to squeeze out of her, but never fully could. Yet the world had answered in a way she didn't expect. She went to the meeting. The foundation hired her. They trained her. They gave her a stable salary and a role she grew into like it had been waiting for her all along. Serena began visiting bus stops, shelters, clinics, and senior centers, building a network that caught elders before they fell through cracks. She learned budgets and systems, but never lost the simple core that started it all. She treated people like they mattered. Months later, Serena stood at a new sheltered stop with fresh benches and clear signs, watching Ruth and Walter step out of a community shuttle, warm and smiling. Jaden ran to them like they were family. Ruth hugged Serena and said the city feels kinder now. Serena smiled because she knew the truth. The city didn't change on its own. It changed because one person stopped walking past pain. Sometimes life turns not on luck, but on the moment you choose to help when nobody else will. Serena chose it in the rain, and the choice came back to her like light. If this story touched, you comment where you are watching from and tell us about a time you helped a stranger or a stranger helped you. Subscribe for more stories about quiet courage, real kindness, and the turns that can change a life forever.